I'm going to do a little story kind of about a family and love and stuff like that, all those sweet ideas right there. I don't think I could have told this story before, had he asked me to do this in my 20s, because the only person I loved was myself back in my 20s. I really did. I actually, the only thing that made me cry in my 20s was thinking of myself dying. I discovered that in acting class. I was serious. I would think of myself dying, and I'd think about myself departing the earth and think how sad it was for everybody else, and I'd cry. And I know, that's twisted, right? But I grew up, so now I'm in my 40s something, and now that I'm older, I can talk a little bit more honestly about stuff like this. I don't have a table. But I've recently gone through quite an experience with my mom, and this story is going to deal with a lot with my mom, and she's an amazing woman. She's the coolest. She's the coolest. Say anything bad about my mom, I'll kill you. I will. I love my mom. Yeah. Raised me as she was an artist and a nurse, mainly an artist. From a very young age, she exposed me to art, trying to get me to understand the finer things in life and be really sophisticated, understanding, sort of value the beauty in the world and stuff like that. From like 5 or 6, she'd have me up in her studio, in her room, and just watching her paint and stuff like that. And first nudes I ever saw were my mom's paintings, which is kind of cool. Not really good nudes. I mean, this is rural Canada. Not a lot of great people posed for art. You didn't have the sexiest people you've ever seen in my mom's art shows. But they came in handy when I started going through puberty. And I know, isn't that gross? And I'm not even making that up. The first thing I ever masturbated to were sketches my mom's made. I know, it's horrible. That lasted until I found her art books. And then, her art books were amazing. I became the most sophisticated masturbator on the planet. I jerked off to Rubens, Seurat, Botticelli, Gustav Klimt. I painted the Louvre daily in semen. Love masturbating. All my mom saw was me walking up to my room with art books. Oh, my little boy loves art. Look at him. I loved art back then. I did. And a weird thing happened. We moved. I was raised in a very religious family, and my dad lost all of our money. Not through bad business, but because he became religious. He became a lay Franciscan monk, and without telling my mom or anybody else in the family, he donated all our money to charity. And we went broke. And we had to move. And so we moved, and I quickly put my stuff in boxes, and I had acquired a little porn by that point. And I remember writing on a box, "Do not look inside, this is mine." And I put it in the truck, assuming nobody would look inside. I was a naive child, I really was. So I didn't think much about it. When we got to the new place, the box was missing. About a month later, before school one morning, about 6 a.m., Mom walks into the room. Door opens. Light flips on. I was like, "What's going on?" Mom drags a chair behind her. Under her arm is that box. I'm like, oh, shit. She sits down next to me in the bed, and she goes, "Pete, I'm a little concerned. I know how much you love art, but I found these magazines, and I think the best thing to do is for me to sit here and go through them with you." The very top magazine was a Hustler. I'll never forget it. It was the first one I ever bought. And it had this blonde-haired Chinese girl on it. I don't remember her name, but And my mom picks up the magazine. She flips it to the first pictorial, and there's a picture of this naked girl in it. And she goes, well, look at her. She's a beautiful woman. There's nothing wrong with that. She takes good care of herself. And then she flips the page over and like, well, that's a nice photo. That's very artistically posed. She leans over. The light catches her very nicely. That's all right. And then she flips the page over, and the next page is just 2 full pages of just a close-up of her vagina. Just this massive pussy just staring out. And my mom's just, just that delicate little oak just crushed me right there. She's like, "Is that how we should look at women? Is that what women are? Just a vagina? Just a part? Just an object? Is that her? Is that all we should look at them as? Just a utilized device for your own gratification? Is that what a woman is? Is it?" I go, "No, Mom, I don't even look at that page. I skip right over that one." She flips the page and she goes through the entire magazine like this. And I love my mom, but boy, she knew how to fuck up a kid's puberty. And I thought it messed me up. I really did. For the longest time, I thought this might have turned me into a weirdo, but it actually kind of made me into a good person. That's the kind of the amazing thing about my mom. She had a roundabout way of making me better, you know. My mom got cancer quite shortly after that. It was a weird type of cancer. I don't know if anybody's experienced this, but it's the kind of cancer where it doesn't seem to kill her. She got diagnosed with cancer, and she had it for like 25 years. 25 years of cancer. That's the Canadian medical system, people. Fight for it. But after a while, her being sick with cancer, I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't focus on it. I just took it for granted that she was sick. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I was in Switzerland doing gigs and doing shows, and I got a phone call. I was in Lucerne. I remember because my sister's voice on the phone. You know when you pick up the phone, there's something bad. You know. And I heard this crackling in the voice, and she goes, "Pete, you got to get home." I go, "What's wrong?" She goes, "Well, it's Mom. You got to get home." I go, "Well, my gig's finish in 3 days, and I'll catch a flight home." She goes, No, you got to get home now." And you can tell when you hear that in your voice, like, I don't got time to fuck around. I got to go now. And I've never done this before. I grabbed my stuff. I told the promoter I was leaving. I got in a taxi cab. I had a little app on my phone for plane tickets. And I bought a plane ticket on the app on the way to the airport. It cost me a fortune. But I did it because I needed to get home to see my mom, you know? And I got to the airport, and the flight was leaving in about an hour. I had a carry-on bag. I go up to the counter, and I go, "Hey, I bought a ticket on the way here. Here's my passport. Here's this. Got to get on the flight." And the lady says, okay. Do you have a printout of the ticket? And I go, "Well, no, I did it on your app. Got no printout in the taxi on the way here." And she goes, "Well, I can't let you on the plane if you don't have a printout of the ticket." And I go, "Well, it's crazy. I have an app. I can't print out anything. Could you print it out for me?" She goes, "I can't print it out. You need a printout or you can't get on the plane." I go, "Well, that's fucking crazy." And she goes, "If you swear, I will have to deny you boarding. You won't be getting on any planes today." And I'm like, "What?" And I explained to her, my mom's, she's really sick. I got to get home. This is fucking nuts. And she goes, "You swore again. If you do this again, you're gone." And I didn't know what to do, and I was panicking. And I did the craziest thing. And I don't know if you've ever encountered this sort of dehumanizing bureaucracy when people try to put you in a place and limit your expression because they're just following rules, not treating you like a human, like a little object. But I growled at her. It came from my soul. And people started looking at the airport like, "What's going on?" And I didn't know what else to do because I couldn't swear, but I had all this. And the manager walked over and goes, What's going on here?" And tears are coming down my face at this point. And I go, "Listen, my mom's dying and I got to get home and she won't let me get on the plane." And the guy goes, "Don't worry, I'll get you on the plane. I'll take care of this." And I growled my way onto the fucking plane. I miraculously got home in time. I saw her. She was still lucid. She was in a great deal of pain, but I got to talk to my mom before she passed. But she was in a lot of pain, and my dad showed up, the joyous, loving man that he is. My dad's incredibly religious in a crazy way. He believes all these crazy things. And one of the things he did while my mom was suffering was he went to the doctors and told them not to give her painkillers. I don't know if there's any Catholics in here, but there's something called purgatory in Catholicism. And one of the things they do is that if you suffer a lot of pain, you can offer that pain up to poor souls in purgatory that'll advance your admission into heaven. Crazy idea. But my mom was in pain, and he was withholding painkillers. And I was like, "No, you can't do that." And we got in this huge fight. But the doctor came in and goes, "Well, he's her husband. He gets to decide what kind of pain management she gets. So I can't give her painkillers." And you go, "This is insane, you know?" So I got my brother to trick him outside, and I went to a nurse. And I fucking love nurses. And I explained it to her. It's like, my mom's in a lot of pain. She used to be a nurse. She goes, "I'll take care of it. Your dad's an asshole." And I was like, "Yeah, nurses. Oh, I love them." But my mom, that was the moment, you know, and they gave her a little bit of thing, and she called me her little fuzzy bear, and she went into a coma. And that was it. It was the last time I ever talked to her. She stayed in that coma for a couple of days, though. She didn't come out of it. And I was like, I wanted to stick around, but I couldn't because I have a family I have to support. I got to keep doing shows, and it's as much as it sucks, I flew away. And I landed, and I had to go on stage the next night, and I got a phone call just before going on stage that she passed away. It was like 30 minutes before going on stage, and I was dying. I was dying, but I went on stage. I got in front of people like you, and I just got up there, and people acted like, that's horrible that you went on stage and told jokes the night your mom died. No, it was fucking an oasis. It was the best thing I ever experienced, because it was everything that she put in me to become this, to do comedy, to be in front of people. It invigorated me, and I loved it. I loved it. Now, in quick epilogue, about 2 years ago, I was back home in my hometown, and I got a phone call from my sister again. Oh, she's always bringing good news. And and she calls and she goes, listen, it looks like Dad's dying. And I go, oh, that's too bad. And and she goes, well, there's nobody there with him. He's all alone. And I mean, you're only a couple hours away, and it's up to you. And I remember staying up that night and just going, And I ended up waking up at 5 in the morning, and I drove and went and saw him in the hospital. And there he was, this bitter, frail, thin man, lying in the bed. None of the awful stuff he did really, it didn't look like he was capable of it anymore. Just lying there emaciated, just in the thing. And I had all these things I wanted to tell him, you know, all this, how his religion fucked up my life and all this stuff I wanted to say. I wanted to whisper in his ear and tell him he didn't deserve the nothingness he was about to encounter. Yeah, it's a fucked up thought, isn't it, for a religious person? But I didn't. I saw him, because I was raised by my mom, not him. And I just held his hand, and I watched him. And the weirdest thing fucking happened. A nurse came in. My dad was in a lot of pain, and asked, what do you want? Do you want us to give him some pain medication? And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. No, I want you to wake him up. I want him to feel every fucking bit of this, is what I thought to myself. But I didn't. I told him to give him the pain medication. Because there's a weird lesson that in my mom showing me that porn. There's this weird little lesson in my mom showing me this porn where she told me not to look at these little objects, to look at just a vagina and think that was a woman. It's just like him. I can't see him as just an asshole. He's not. He's an entire person. And in that last moment, I made the right decision, and and he passed away without pain. And that's my happy little story.